What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. A big thank you to Xbox and Compulsion Games for giving me the opportunity to play a demo of South of Midnight, which is coming out on April 8th this year on Xbox and PC via Xbox and Steam. I have been really looking forward to this. I saw this last year at Summer Game Fest. I got to go to the Xbox experience, and I thought it looked really cool. And getting to play it was just as cool. I actually left it really impressed, and I am looking forward to this releasing on April 8th. Keep in mind, like all other first-party Xbox games, this will be available day one on Game Pass, so that is really cool. What I really loved about the game is just how unique it feels. We're in the deep south. I want to say Louisiana, maybe Alabama. I don't know. It's definitely the deep south. In the part that I played, it didn't necessarily tell me specifically. I started off in chapter 3, so we were already a little bit into the game, and we're playing as Hazel. And we encounter the catfish for the first time, who is kind of the storyteller and the first mythical creature. There's a lot of, sci-fi elements, maybe not sci-fi, but like a lot of mystical elements to it, not quite Harry Potter, but, it kind of almost feels a little bit, like a game like that. And it's also a lot of mystery. The atmosphere is really cool. So a little bit about Hazel. She has become a weaver, a magical mender of broken bonds and spirits, and we are learning her new abilities to subdue dangerous creatures and untangle the webs of her own family's past. Now, I obviously have seen the trailers, so I have a little bit of an idea of what happens. But we were given a part that says the story so far, so I would like to kind of give you an idea of where we're at. Hazel and her mother, Lacey, were preparing for a hurricane. The storm swept Hazel's home into the river, taking her mother, Lacey, with it. Desperate for help, Hazel ventures onto the storm and soon discovers a newfound magical power, weaving. Following the river's path, she encounters the ghost of Mahalia, a weaver from the past, who guides and teaches her new abilities. So that is where we start in chapter 3. And let me just tell you, I was a little frustrated at first, and I was worried I was not going to get that far, because the part of chapter 3 starts you right into a battle, and you have to kind of figure out your powers and your abilities and what you're doing. And I did not do that very well. I was very slow picking it up. But once I did find that everything really kind of worked well. It's not like too complex. During the parts that I got to play, we learned how to glide, we learned how to double jump, and we learned a little bit of her push and pull powers, almost a little, the Force-ish, if you will. So that was kind of cool. I did feel there is like a little, power progression where you can unlock new powers and stuff like that by collecting these little orbs that I think they call floofs. And there's a lot of platforming to find those, which I always find very interesting. So, there's not a lot I'm too worried about. I love the atmosphere. The atmosphere is really cool. There's a lot of stuff kind of going on in the background. The music, the ambiance of it all really ties in together well. It feels very deep south. Like, I was born in North Carolina. I grew up until I was, 12. I lived in, North Carolina and Tennessee most of my life. So, like, I've experienced the South. I also lived in Florida for a bit. So, like, it really, like, there is something different about being in the South that, people like me that mostly grew up in Boston, are never going to really understand until you kind of experience it. And this really does a great job of pulling that all in. You could tell there was a lot of care and thought that went into designing all of this and making it really a cultural experience, because, we were experiencing, death and some bad memories, and we're experiencing the past that she's seeing, almost like seeing ghosts. And it's really cool the way that it's kind of tying it all together while we're also trying to find out what's happened to her mom. And plus, there's this giant catfish that just starts talking to you, and all these different weird ghost-like demons fighting you. I will say the combat is, it's not anything reinventing the wheel, but it's sufficient, and I think it's interesting. I definitely, it was tough. I think it starts you at like the middle difficulty of it all, and I found it to be a little tough, mostly because I didn't really know what I was doing. I don't really have a lot of complaints. Like, I'm really actually looking forward to this game. I think it's obviously going to be very unique. It has a very distinct art style that I think a lot of people are going to be really into. Obviously, there are some people that might not, and I get that, but I think it looks great. There are very few complaints that I have. I did find at times I couldn't really figure out where to go. It does tell you, like, there are little subtle hints on some of the environments where, like, maybe, like, you could tell that, okay, I can latch on here and move forward. So it does give you those markers, which I know have been a little controversial lately. Some people like them, some people don't. I like them. I like to kind of know, especially when they just look natural, like everything kind of fit into the environment. But I did get to a point where I felt like I was stuck and I didn't know where to go, and I kind of got turned around, and I started dying because trying to backtrack, I couldn't get over certain pieces. But I'm sure that once the full release is there and you're kind of able to walk into Chapter 3 with a little bit more experience, I think it'll make more sense. I'm not too worried about that. It's not necessarily open world, but it is open enough that you can kind of move about as you need to go. I just couldn't figure out where to get back to, so it's worth mentioning. I did have some graphical issues, but I think it's on my end and not the game's. And obviously this isn't the final version of the game. At first, with this and another game I'm previewing through Xbox, which I'm allowed to say I'm previewing Avowed, which comes out tomorrow for early access, the 13th. I've been having some weird issues with OBS, but I was able to open Streamlabs and record the gameplay that you're watching this over. I'm bouncing around a bit and just kind of showing you just a little bit of the stuff that I got to do. I think this is going to be a game that's going to pleasantly surprise a lot of people, and I really, truly appreciate how unique it is as far as the experience. Maybe the gameplay isn't necessarily, reinventing the wheel or anything. You're doing a lot of dodging, you're doing some platforming, you're fighting kind of ghost-like apparitions. But I can tell that the story is going to be the experience, and it's going to be one of those games that you really want to sit down and experience all the little things that kind of pop up along the way. So I'm very much looking forward to playing the full game. It will be on Xbox Game Pass, like I said, April 8th. You can play it on Xbox Game Pass on Xbox Series S and X and PC. You can also buy it on Steam, which, hey, I bet it'll even look better on that. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I think Hazel is a really interesting character. She feels genuine, and I think that is always something when you deal with people from a certain region, any region. It could be an Assassin's Creed game wherever they're localized. It can be Call of Duty. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, when you're dealing with characters that are trying to fit into a certain environment, there has to be an authenticity to it. You can't just pick anyone and say, oh yeah, do a southern accent. I think they really did a great job making this feel genuine and unique and like you're in the deep south swamps. The only other concern I maybe have, and I don't know how far we're gonna go, I just hope that, like, all of the environment doesn't feel the same. you know, through every chapter. Obviously, I only got to play a small part of chapter 3, and we're going in and out of the bayou. We're going in and out of, you know, a wetland area. So I'm just hoping, you know, there are some little shacks and shanties and whatnot here and there. But I am hoping that we get to see other environments, and I'm sure we will. So that it's not just that the whole time. That's not the end of the world, but certainly something that stuck out to me as I was playing. So once again, thank you, Xbox and Compulsion Games. I really hope this game is successful because, you know, it feels very genuine and unique, and I think it's going to be a really great experience. So hopefully you guys, if you have Xbox Game Pass especially, hopefully this is something that looks interesting to you and you're able to try it out when it does launch. And if not, I mean, it's interesting enough that you want to buy it. So thank you again to Xbox. It's awesome to work with you guys. Dream come true. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to this game. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you.